A spectacular Friday in South Florida where temperatures were in the 80s has yielded to a beautiful 75-degree evening as the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series cars are ready to take to Homestead-Miami Speedway for qualifying, leading to Sunday's season finale. The field of four who'll compete for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship on Sunday set in a fantastic duel in the desert in Phoenix a week ago where desperation provided the last lap drama.
Never seen a chase like this.
Denny Hamlin back to 37th place.
Keep pushing so we can do this. Deep breath.
Kevin Harvick win, and he's in to compete for a championship. Ryan Newman is going to get in with that move on the last lap. It was something, leading us all to wonder what we're going to see this coming Sunday night, when now the four drivers who made it through into the championship round race heads up within the field of 43 over 400 miles here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Highest finisher is the NASCAR Sprint Cup champion for 2014. Just how desperate will someone be in the final corners? And hello from South Florida, Alan Bestwick with Hall of Famer and champion driver Dale Jarrett and champion crew chief Andy Petrie. So we know who the four drivers are. We know what the format will be. A lot of folks asking all week long in the various interviews that you've done who your favorite is and who your pick is. Handicap the field of four a little bit for me as far as favorites and maybe dark horses.
Well, I think everybody here has the opportunity to win because these are the four best drivers and teams to this point. They've gotten themselves in a position to do this. I think if you look at things, you have to make two kind of the favorite with what we've seen all year long. Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick have performed best, especially on the mile-and-a-half tracks. They've had speed, opportunities to win, getting themselves in position to do that. So you have to make them the favorites. But again, everybody can win. Now, who can go out and what's going to keep them from losing it? Every single one of them can do that by making a mistake at the wrong point in time of the race that they can't recover from.
Yeah, we've seen that pressure just build up and make these guys make mistakes. It's not going to be any different here on Sunday. And so you've got the guys, I agree with you, the favorites. The 22, is definitely the one that's got the most wins. The fastest car all year has been Kevin Harvick in the 4, so I think those are good guys. But the 31 team, they got here without winning, but I think they have what it takes. I've talked to the guys throughout the chase, and they think that they've worked the system very well and that they think they can win this championship, and they think by not having pressure on them, it gives them a little advantage. So, I mean, really any of them can win. I agree with you about the favorites, but mistakes might be what does make the difference.
Going to be a fascinating 400 miles on Sunday for sure. Now, qualifying to set the starting field for the race. We've seen here at Homestead-Miami, you can win from anywhere on the starting grid. But the most intriguing thing about today, where that championship is concerned, may be the psychological component.
Yeah, when you come into one of these championship weekends, there's a tremendous amount of pressure on the whole team, the driver and the crew chief and the crew. And so what you want to do is try to relieve some of that. You do that by running fast in practice, and in qualifying is very important. Your starting position is going to be there till you start this race, and that's what's going to kind of set the tone. You don't want to feel like you're defeated before you really get into the competition. That's why I think it's really important today to have a good, fast, strong qualifying run.
You know, we've heard the words from these drivers in their press conferences, the banter back and forth, trying to add a little bit of pressure. But the best pressure that you can add to this weekend on your opponents there is by going out here running a fast lap. Not necessarily the pole, but being in front of them. That kind of fires the first shot and lets them know that you are the fastest one here. Now, you can't win the championship here today, but you could sure put yourself in a hole psychologically if you don't have a very fast race car. So we'll see some outstanding efforts as we've seen across the races, but here in qualifying today.
Four title contenders certainly will be the headline players of the weekend. For updates on their days so far and their prospects looking ahead, let's go down to pit road. Here's Jamie Little.
Well, after 13 season and 501 starts in the Sprint Cup Series, many believe it's Kevin Harvick's opportunity and his championship to lose. But the first true test of the weekend starts right now for qualifying. And after the first practice and only practice these guys have had this weekend, Harvick was the fastest of the four competitors. He was second overall. I spent some time with his crew chief, Rodney Childers, afterwards. He told me they are happy. This balance of this car is great. Harvick smiled, gave me a thumbs up, and says it's a lot better to talk to all the cameras and deal with the pressure when your car is this good. Dave Burns?
Jamie, the good news for Team Penske is that they had one really fast race car in qualifying trim today. The bad news is it wasn't your car, Joey. It was your teammate, Brad. You were 22nd today. What was going on with your race car?
I hope we know the answer. I hope we fixed it. But, our Shell Pennzoil Ford was really fast in race trim. typically when we have speed and race trim, the speed will transfer over into qualifying trim. It just didn't seem to have that today. So we made some adjustments, and I think we went the right way. And obviously the track's changed a lot since then too, so hopefully that plays into our hand also, and let's see where we end up.
All right, Joey Logano is the only one of the 4 contenders, by the way, with a pole here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Dr. Jerry Punch?
Well, folks, Denny Hamlin's the only one of the championship contenders that's actually won a cup race here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Hamlin won the finale here a year ago, starting 5th. And get this, back in 2009, he won this race from 38th starting position. So that should tell you that on Sunday, no matter where he starts, he could be a factor. Now, crew chief Darian Grubb told me, based on practice today, they may not have the speed in the first couple laps to hang with some, but after the tires get hot for 4 or 5 laps, he said, you know what? If we can get to the 3rd round, we've got a shot because we're as fast as anybody here once the tires warm up. Maybe that guy, Denny Hamlin, will have a shot at being on the front row if he can hang on to the 3rd round of qualifying. Here's Vince Welch.
Well, pressure is certainly a hot-button word around here at Homestead Speedway this weekend, and certainly plenty of teams are feeling it. But about an hour ago, Ryan Newman, I walked up in your hauler, and your crew chief and your crew, they're all sitting around laughing, joking, cutting up, kind of making fun of the fact that they're really feeling the pressure. You seem unfazed as well. How do you feel right now as you get ready to qualify?
We got one more shot at winning a pole this year. We were 9th in practice with a Caterpillar Chevrolet, and at that time, I was probably napping in my motorhome. So, got a great opportunity here. Need to make the best of it.
Ryan Newman, they're still figuring out their strategy, Alan, as to whether they're going to go out early or wait for a while.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of that going on as we get into the qualifying session. 3 rounds of time trials to determine who the pole position starter will be and where these 4 championship drivers will take the green flag for Sunday's Ford EcoBoost 400. The cars roll in just a couple of minutes. How cool is that? Keelan ready to watch Daddy at work. Could Dad be the NASCAR Sprint Cup champion here on Ford Championship Weekend in South Florida? Tomorrow, the final race of the NASCAR Nationwide Series season, Ford EcoBoost 300, 4 Eastern on ESPN 2. And then Sunday, the championship round, the Ford EcoBoost 400 on ESPN at 1 Eastern time, starting with NASCAR Countdown. Also Championship Weekend for the NHRA Tracksters, the Auto Club NHRA Finals from Pomona. Qualifying, see it late Saturday, early Sunday on ESPN 2 with the final eliminations Sunday night, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN 2. Going to be passing around a lot of trophies this weekend in auto racing. Down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, back in 2010, when I talked to Denny Hamlin, when he had a shot to win the title, he was uptight, didn't want to be around family or friends, wanted to be left alone. This week, you seem to be so relaxed and laid back. What do you know that we don't know that's made you feel so good about what's going to happen on Sunday?
Well, I think we've just been underestimated really throughout this chase, and it's time for us to go out there and show what we're capable of. And today in practice was no different. I thought that I had a car that I could win with, and so our weekend's starting off pretty good right now.
Good luck in qualifying.
Thanks.
Denny Hamlin hoping to be able to get it done in maybe the top 2 or 3 rows when this day is done in qualifying. Let's check in with Vince.
Well, the 31, talking about things that could have been a terrible break. They noticed that the left front was going down as it sits here getting ready for qualifying. So NASCAR allowed Ryan Newman's crew to change the left front. So they've put on a new left front tire. Thankfully, they caught that before he went out for qualifying, Alan.
Yeah, generally you need air in those things for them to work, right? And could have caused a problem. But so far, all in order for Ryan Newman as he gets ready to qualify along with the other drivers in a minute. Beautiful downtown Miami. I know it's so freezing cold in a lot of the country. You should have been here. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series getting ready to crown a champion on Sunday afternoon here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, south of downtown, and getting ready now to set the starting order for that race as qualifying begins in 3, 2, 1, go. Now, really key here, this Homestead-Miami Speedway track resurfaced last in 2003. It sits here and bakes in the Florida sun. It's one of those that kind of chews up tires a little bit, and speed fall off is big. So you better get this first lap right.
Yeah, you better get it right, and that's easier said than done, too. I think that something we're going to watch for are the lanes and the grooves that they choose to run in. We know that racing, the high lines, the fastest way around here. Are some of them going to choose that way? I think we're going to see a lot toward the middle of the racetrack. and trying to make speed.
I think one other thing is that some of these cars are going out early. We see the 4-car putting his car in position to go out early. Some are going to wait because the track will get a little bit cooler. I think there's two schools of thought on that. One is that you want to maximum amount of time for the tires to cool between rounds. So if you have a fast enough car to go out here and make the cut for the first round, you might just go early to get that maximum cooling time.
So Paul Menard first to the green flag. Quick check downstairs with Dave.
Alan, one of the critical elements of this knockout qualifying is what you do during the final moments of each session. How long does it take your car from a standing stop at the end of pit road to get around to take the green? Now, some teams have that in their mind, and from earlier sessions today, what exactly it is here. The 22 team is going to do that during Joey's first run, so after he leaves here and goes down to the end, spotter Tab Boyd will make sure he gets that time from leaving pit road to coming back to green.
All right, Dave, thanks. So the first 3-4 laps have been put in the books. Clint Boyer, Paul Menard, Tony Stewart in order of speed rank. There's Boyer, currently fastest, and now just topped by the 2-car of Brad Keselowski. And he's done it in track record fashion. Wasn't sure we were going to see that because of the speeds in practice earlier today, but yet another track record has fallen in 2014.
I thought that might make it difficult is the way they have to exit pit road and stay on basically the access road down there before coming up on the racetrack. And I wasn't sure how much that might hurt their getting up to speed here at this track and coming to the green.
Casey came with a good lap. Wow.
Whoa, hang on.
Big wiggle there. You're talking about that lane choice or line choice that they're talking about going around through the racetrack. I think that the lower lane, you see more of that than you do up in the top.
Yeah, and there's not as much banking. It's progressive banking here. There's just not as much banking, not as much grip down there, really. And you have to be careful in trying to make that work. Obviously, the shorter way around.
Now, that is going to hurt for Casey Kane. When you can't get it on that first lap, subsequent shots are just not going to be any faster. Kevin Harvick, second fastest in the practice earlier today. And has been, in a word, stellar in qualifying this season.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Rodney Childers and this whole team, they have speed everywhere they go. It seems like that is just their edge that they've had. They've had some issues during the season of executing and turning that into wins. Lately, it's been working pretty good, but it's still one of the fastest cars on the track.
Yeah, he was battling that thing, driving it through turns 1 and 2 there. And they waited until there was no chance of really anything happening on the track that may take this opportunity away because of what you're talking about, Alan. You don't want to go out there and get a corner on your tires or something and then have the caution to come out. So they played this pretty much right. Going to barely miss Keselowski's time.
Still plenty good enough.
2 drivers over 181 miles an hour. The next fastest car in third place down at 179 as Kyle Larson takes the green. Certainly one to watch here this weekend. His kind of racetrack.
Yeah, he loves to get up from the middle half of the track up towards the top and right against the wall. Matter of fact, in the Nationwide car, he's been against the wall a couple of times, but you have to think he's going to be pretty spectacular in trying to get that first victory before 2014's over. Probably not going to be happy with this lap, though.
Now remember, you're just needing to make the top 24 in this first round.
Yeah, that's going to be close right there, though, from that one.
178.083 for Kyle Larson, and coming to the green flag is Denny Hamlin. Winner of this race a year ago. It was his first win of the season in 2013. My impression on this 11 team this year started out struggling to get a grip on this new no ride height rule package, high downforce and so on this year. The Toyota struggles maybe to catch up on horsepower, well documented. They've gotten better over the course of the late summer and the fall. They have more speed in these race cars and more steam under the hood.
Yeah, they have ample steam under the hood and handling now than what they had earlier. The entire organization has struggled. Yes. I mean, when you look and that organization only has 2 wins between their 3 drivers, you know that it was an organizational type situation that they were fighting. Good lap for Denny. That's third.
You've seen the performance pick up. Matt Kenseth will be another good one here when he comes out to make a qualifying lap in a bit. Another driver and team that have really picked up the performance into the fall. Martin Truex Jr. at what he calls his best track. Numbers here for Truex over the course of his Sprint Cup career, nothing short of phenomenal. He's always up front. He's always in the top 10. Most of the time he's in the top 5. And he'll be one to keep an eye on Sunday in this 78 car to pull off a victory. Here is now South Florida resident Brian Vickers.
Big wiggle there.
Yeah, that wasn't intended to be a lap that went that high on the exit of that corner.
Brian and his wife live in Miami Beach, the Miami area, and was talking about this weekend. He's going to ride his motorcycle back and forth to the track every day from home.
Nice.
But he'll be looking for more speed than that lap gave him. Here is Kurt Busch, 6th on the practice chart earlier today.
Going to be plenty good enough to get him in the top 24. I think something that's going to be difficult for these drivers and teams. What do we adjust here and as we go into the next round? You know, how much if the tire give up, what do we have to do? We have to tighten the car up. Exactly what's going to happen. How much speed can we find in that second round?
And how cool can we get it? How quickly? Very fascinating. You know, we're in the knockout qualifying now, new for 2014, and how much different it plays out now in the late months of the season than it did at the very beginning of the season as all the teams came to understand the format. I feel like at the beginning of the season, everybody was in a rush to get out on the racetrack at the beginning of each session. And now you see the patience they're all showing. Hey, 25 minutes in this first session's a long time. And there's no need to go jump the gun. Track conditions might change a little, but they're not going to change drastically well after sundown here. And it's interesting how patient the teams are now that they've come to understand the format and how it works.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in how this is playing out too, because you've got some guys that are waiting to make a run. Some guys went out early. Like I said, just trying to maybe maximize that cooling time they have between rounds. But the later you go in these, especially when these night qualifying sessions, the quicker the track's going to be.
Almirola with busy hands in there. Sorry, Andy.
I just love this racetrack for that.
Yeah.
You can see the cars sliding around on it.
Not a bad lap for as busy as he was.
Now got a lot out of that. Dale Jr. on the track. Yeah, I think from a driver standpoint, when I think about this, the way this qualifying goes now, you know, it was always more difficult when you drew a late number to go, even though sometimes that was beneficial, but to stand around, sit around, wait on others to qualify and everything, that kind of got me in a situation of almost, you wouldn't panic, but your heart was racing for a longer period of time in anticipation.
More anxiety.
Yeah.
Brian Newman on his lap here, and a good one going.
And what we've seen from tracking from Keselowski through everybody else, as they exit turn 2 and down the back straightaway, they are losing time. They might beat him through the corner, but they're not beating Brad Keselowski down the straightaway this weekend, it doesn't look like.
Not a very good 3 and 4 for Ryan Newman. Still a good lap.
Enough. Yeah.
And Jeff Gordon on the racetrack. Oh, the heartbreak of Phoenix last Sunday for Jeff Gordon.
He takes the checkered flag. He's in.
Yeah.
And then behind him, Ryan Newman makes the move, probably move of the year, to get him and his team into the chase, into the Final Four. Knock Jeff out.
4th for Jeff Gordon here. So many stories this weekend beyond the championship and who's going to win the race. Drivers making their final rides, drives in certain rides, and so on. Trevor Bayne with his last ride for the Wood Brothers here on Sunday.
Yeah, the team that he took to victory lane in the Daytona 500 and got his first win in the Sprint Cup Series.
Trevor driving full schedule for Roush Fenway Racing next year. Ryan Blaney announced to drive this 21. And of course, the Wood Brothers moving their technical alliance from Roush Fenway Racing over to Penske Racing for next season. And the chance to make history has to wait for another year for Jimmy Johnson after getting knocked out of the chase earlier on. In fact, Jimmy is not even going to finish in the top 10 in the championship it looks like. And he's never finished lower than 6th in an entire season in his entire career.
A lot of issues for this team, especially in these first 9 races that we've seen. That's going to keep them from getting inside that top 10.
He's 32 points behind 10th place starting the race on Sunday. That's a big gap to make up. Here's Matt Kenseth. Mentioned him earlier. Somebody to watch. Pretty solid lap there. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finishing up a lap in 12th. So the bumping's begun. Cole Witt, Michael McDowell, Blake Cook, Josh Wise, Landon Castle out of the top 24. David Reagan is on the bubble. You see the cars beginning to meter off the pit road, including Greg Biffle and Kyle Busch, who's on the track now.
See, he beat Keselowski about a 10th or so through turns 1 and 2.
Yep, they're all losing time, close to a 10th down that back straightaway. I know that was probably partly because of Keselowski's exit, but you'd have to think that some of that was aero and horsepower going down the straightaway.
Kyle in 7th. And speaking of farewells, Marcos Ambrose in his final start in NASCAR racing, heading back down under to his native country on Monday after this race to go run the V8 Supercar Series in Australia for Dick Johnson and Roger Penske. He's been a treat to watch race.
Oh, it's been incredible. I tell you what, Cup racing is certainly better because of him in a lot of ways, but you know, he's handled everything with utmost class and brought us some of the most exciting racing and really taught a lot of drivers a lot about racing on a road course. But he's excellent in whatever type of racing he is doing.
Was there a more entertaining finish than Ambrose and Keselowski or Ambrose and Allmendinger at Watkins Glen the last couple of years? Here is Joey Logano. Have they found the speed in this 22 car from practice to now? That's the green flag for Logano.
I mean, he's a solid 10th and a half faster than the 2 car through that turn. It holds up pretty decent down the straightaway.
He's got the same motor.
I saw Doug Yates in the garage this morning. He seemed to feel like he had his teams in good shape for this weekend. Joey Logano 3rd. So Penske cars 1 and 3 surrounding Kevin Harvick. Todd Gordon looking to position his driver for success and a championship on Sunday.
I know you've probably been in touch with the coach and players up there with your Florida State guys, but they better not be messing around in the first half like they have the last few games.
Big game for them.
I have so many memories of Florida State-Miami games, and that should be a classic one, I think. Miami's certainly been playing better as the season's gone on, and it's a stern test on the road for Florida State tomorrow night here in South Florida. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying ongoing on championship weekend here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Denny Hamlin currently sitting 7th after his opening run in the 3-round qualifying format to set the field for Sunday's race. Joey Logano sitting 3rd, huddling with his crew chief Todd Gordon and company, strategizing for the next run in the next round. And an update from that area from Dave.
Joey breaking it down with the team there. I talked with them after the practice session where he sat 22nd and asked them if there were any trends they were looking at. And they said similar to the test, we had a tight race car when we went to qualifying trim. The race trim today, very, very good. They were pleased with that. But similar to the test, they had a problem when they went to the qualifying trim. So the knowledge that they gained from Brad Keselowski, teammate, and what he did in practice today was a big help. It really showed in what Joey did right now. Vince?
As far as the 31 is concerned, Ryan Newman, in the earlier practice today, they did make a couple of race runs and then the rest of the way concentrated on their qualifying trim and felt like they were pretty pleased with what kind of qualifying car they had here today. It did make a few adjustments, and during that first run, Ryan said it was just a little bit stuck and particularly a little too tight through the center, deciding whether or not they want to free it up or whether Ryan maybe is just going to drive it a little harder and see how it reacts from there. Jamie?
up on top of a pit box with Kevin Harvick's biggest fans, his wife Delana, and of course his son Keelan. And Delana, you guys have been together. This has been a long run for you in the Sprint Cup Series, 13 years, and it all comes together. Perhaps your best opportunity to win the championship. What has this been like for you guys?
Honestly, it's been an incredible ride. You know, no matter what happens, to accomplish what they've accomplished in their first year and to see the chemistry with these guys, you never think you're going to get to be a part of something like that, and it's been amazing.
What do you think of his chances?
I think they're pretty good.
So far, so good. He's going to go for another run, and little Keelan's having his coffee like Daddy did before he got in the car, Doc.
And speaking of daddies, how about a dad and mom for Denny Hamlin? We're talking about Dennis and Mary Lou Hamlin. Let me go to Dad first. Dad, you were a racer. You grew up racing until it was time to put this young man in the car. Your thoughts, what premonitions do you have about what's going to happen here on Sunday?
Well, I really don't have any. I don't know. I hope he's up front. He's pretty calm right now. He seems pretty confident, so I'm hoping he's up there. I really am.
Mary Lou, you know you're a young man more than anybody around here. Have you ever seen him this relaxed? Normally he's a little uptight when the pressure is on.
No, he's been totally calm, has been keeping us calm, and we're just hoping for the best.
Do you feel it? Do you feel that this is going to be his chance to win the championship after what happened here in 2010?
I actually do. I do. However, he doesn't want to talk about it, so we don't bring it up. We don't talk about the race or anything. We just let it be.
And if you're looking for an Omen, Mom and Dad don't get the very many of them, but they went to Talladega. You know who won it that day? Their boy, Denny Hamlin. Maybe this is another Omen for this young man to get the win and the championship.
Of course, in that 2010 race, Denny Hamlin entered the finale as the championship leader, and it all went wrong. A spin early in the race, down into the grass, tore up the front end of his car. He wound up losing the championship to Jimmy Johnson. How much has that experience, I know you've talked to Denny about it, how much that has experience shaped his perspective on this weekend and this opportunity?
You know, I think the biggest thing is, unless you've been in that situation, you really don't know what to expect and how you're going to handle situations. Obviously, this happened very early in that race, kind of set the tone, put him behind the 8-ball. But Denny Hamlin's learned a lot from that. Denny Hamlin, this is a different race driver and different person in 2014 than what was trying to win that championship then. And I spoke to Denny. I speak to him pretty much every week. But just the calm that he has about this, the confidence that he has in his driving ability and his team, he knows that he has a great opportunity here on Sunday. And I talked to him at Phoenix about his test here. He said he was really excited. When I saw him today talking with him, he said our car is even better than what I thought it was going to be from the test. He was really had that calmness and that confidence. You know, he doesn't have that air about him, just a confidence that is exuding right now. And I think that's going to be beneficial to him and his team. And he's got a great leader in Darian Grubb that knows all about the pressures of making this happen.
Championship winning crew chief with Tony Stewart here in 2011. Of course, that spin for Denny was just the beginning of a trio of events that eventually cost him. He ended up having a flat tire later in the race, then got trapped after making a green flag pit stop by a caution flag, and it wound up a disastrous day for Denny that he's looking to come back all the way from with a championship here on Sunday. Over to Dave.
Conversations continuing between Joey Logano and his crew. So that one's out of the way. Was that a relief after what you had in practice today?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what we were going to have. I got a lot of confidence in this team, knowing that they always be able to fix these things. Every time we got an issue, it seems like they're able to fix it if you give them enough time, and they did it again. I'm not sure they were going to be able to do it this time, but they were, and it makes it a lot of fun to drive this thing and still fight for it. So when I walked out here, I was hoping we made it through the first round. Now I'm shooting for a pole at this point. So Shell Penzo, of course, got a lot of speed in it.
Expectations going up, maybe.
All right, Dave, and you hear the roar of cars going by in the background. We're down to the final 2.5 minutes of this first session. Some drivers coming back out to try and crack the top 24. A.J. Allmendinger sits on the bubble, but with more laps on the tires, it's unlikely anybody's going to race their way in. Trevor Bayne, Kyle Larson, you see Tony Stewart there, all taking another shot at getting into the top 24. We'll keep you posted if anybody comes up with something.
Well, Tony Stewart went just a little bit quicker than he did the first run, but not enough to get inside the cut line of the top 24. Interesting to see now what this 42 car Larson can do. We're comparing him now to Allmendinger, who is on the bubble. Pretty close to it right now. Looks like he's not going to make it. These tires just lose a lot of grip. You know, when you run them once, you try to go back out and run them again,
Get close, but just not quite there.
Danica Patrick also back out for what will be a third lap on this 10 car. Thought Danica might contend for pole position today. She went out the first time and came back in fairly quickly without really putting up a significant number. Vince, what happened?
Well, really just way too loose coming to the green. That's been her issue throughout this qualifying effort. Says she just is sideways off turn 4, made a chassis adjustment, but just doesn't have the grip that she felt like she had in practice.
And so they're back to your point earlier, DJ, about putting that corner on the tires, having something go wrong.
Yeah, and you just said, when you're loose like that on this racetrack, you just cannot attack it. Obviously, you don't want to be so tight that you're scrubbing off speed, but you have to be able to drive this hard to get to the speeds that they're running.
Now, Greg Biffle did just jump inside the top 24 with a lap he just finished. So Allmendinger's out. Vickers is on the bubble. Here's Brian Scott, who started this season with a pole at the Daytona 500 and is looking to finish this season with a strong run here in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Based on what we saw in practice earlier today, expect Brian's going to be strong in the NASCAR Nationwide Series race tomorrow here.
Yeah, I was going to say, we always see him in the Nationwide car be right up in the top 10 qualifying. Not getting quite enough out of this car here this evening, though.
So Brian Vickers on the bubble. And on the track, A.J. Allmendinger, who just got knocked out of the top 24. And let me correct myself. It was Talladega where Brian was on the pole. Or should I say, let me be corrected?
Good lap here.
I feel great, Shane. Oh, right there.
Yeah, it's going to lose it off turn 4 and down the front straightaway.
That's it. Session's over. Allmendinger doesn't make it. And you see on the left, the 24 drivers who advanced to round 2, including all 4 of the championship round contenders this weekend here at South Florida. So another track record. Unless it's topped in subsequent rounds, which we don't expect by running on the same set of tires. But the 24th track record in 2014 and the 5th set by Brad Keselowski. With Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano right there. You see Denny Hamlin in 7th, Ryan Newman in 10th. Psychology of qualifying, they're right up front so far. 2 more rounds to go, though, till we know exactly where they and the other drivers will start in Sunday's Ford EcoBoost 400. Reminder about our coverage of this championship weekend in South Florida at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Tomorrow, the NASCAR Nationwide Series runs its final race of the year, the Ford EcoBoost 300 at 4 Eastern on ESPN2. Chase Elliott crowned the champion. He'll get the trophy after the race, and of course, we'll see if he can win the race and claim a couple of trophies in one shot. Sunday, the Ford EcoBoost 400 is the championship round in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. NASCAR Countdown kicks us off on ESPN at 1 Eastern time, and then the 400 miles all the way through the championship trophy presentation and celebration. Final weekend of the NHRA season, and the Auto Club NHRA Nationals can be seen at late night Saturday for qualifying runs. Early Sunday, ESPN2 with the season's final eliminations on Sunday night at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2 from Pomona. Down to Vince.
With Luke Lambert, the 32-year-old crew chief for driver Ryan Newman, what was your impression of the first qualifying run and how the car reacted?
It went pretty well. Kind of responded the way we expected it to with the nightfall here. So we did what we were planning to do going into this next round right here, and we'll see where it lands. I think we're pretty good.
How's the car in relation to how it was in practice? You made a little adjustment after practice, and then how does the track change to change the balance of the car?
We expected the grip of the track to come into it when the night fell, and that's what happened, and our balance pretty much landed where we expected it to, so we'll see here.
Well done. Thanks, Luke. Let's go to Doc.
With Darian Grubb, Denny Hamlin, 7th overall in the first session. What kind of feedback did you get from your driver?
So far, the car is not bad. He didn't push it to 100% right there. A little bit tight in the center, so we're tweaking on it just a little bit, try to get through 2 more rounds.
You told me, talking about 2 more rounds, you said we're not going to be as quick as a handful of guys on sticker tires, but if we can get to round 3, our car on hot tires is as good, if not better, than anybody. Can you get to round 3? Do you have enough left?
I'm pretty sure we can. He didn't push as hard as he needed to right there, so I think we'll be top 12 here and make it to the next round.
All right, Darian Rupp thinking he might have something they can make it to third round. Let's go to Dave Burns.
Todd Gordon and the 22 team needed a big pickup. They got it thanks to their driver and a little work on your part. How much of that was your notebook and how much of that was, I'm glad our teammate was fast today in qualifying trim?
I think we always look at what each other have and compare it, and we know what our offset should be. So we look through our notes, look through what we had here at the test, and honestly struggled in qualifying trim when we tried it at the test and this morning. So picked up a few things and put some stuff together that I think going to nightfall helped us as well.
I was just going to ask, it's cooling down quite a bit here. What is the transition like here in terms of tuning on the race car? A lot at Homestead?
Place picks up a bunch of grip, it seems like, and it hasn't been a big swing for us, but I think a couple people saw it go loose. But for overall, that's a direction that we needed out of practice. So look for good things in the second and third round. We're just a little bit free, which is good for where the balance goes.
Thank you. Keep moving on. Alan, sorry.
Dave and Todd Gordon talking about our offset, the difference between Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski's driving styles, and offsetting their notes and setups for the difference between the two drivers.
Yeah, I spent some time with the two bunch down in the garage earlier, and they were talking about they did a few things that they were going to hopefully feed to the 22 team that would help them in it. Looks like it has.
So ready to go with round 2 of knockout qualifying. This will be a 10-minute round, 24 drivers with the top 12 advancing on to the final round of these time trials. And we'll see if all 4 of our title contenders can continue the good psychological vibes by making the cut for the last round.
I think it's really, really important for all 4 of them to make it into this final round. You know, it was important to get through there. That was rather easy for these top teams. But now they need to be in this top 12. So I looked at this before qualifying ever started and thought this was the round that they all need to make it through to give themselves a chance just to be in that top 12 and not too far away from any of the others.
Boy, you can see just how that track's cooled off quite a bit, and that was definitely in the favor of this 22 team because they were not good on a hot, slick racetrack in qualifying trim.
But don't you just love those air temps?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we won't talk about that. At home, I think I just checked it, it's 25 degrees.
Ooh. Yeah. Home being in North Carolina.
Yeah.
That
in the mountains.
Chilly.
As we talk to those crew chiefs, isn't it amazing just how the smart people down in that garage area now, Andy? I mean, I knew you were a crew chief. And there were a lot of smart people. There always are, you know, in that. But you just look at this group, young guys that have really worked their way up, got in great positions, and really doing good things in this series.
Yeah, that's why the competition level is so high. I mean, there are a lot of smart people on every one of these race teams. And they put it to use, and they apply what they know and learn in real time.
So here we go with round number 2, a 10-minute session again. And Paul Menard again going to be the first one out onto the racetrack in that 27 car.
Denny Hamlin really wants to get there too. Bypassing a few cars there to get himself a spot in this first group.
So you don't want to roll too far out on that warm-up lane and give some people some space in front of you, but you can't wait too long to get going because that is your get up to speed lap.
Yeah, you got to be getting it whenever you come off of turn 4.
So Menard, the first to take the green, then Clint Boyer, just like last session. They were the first 2 to take the green. Then Brian Vickers. Then Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski. Those are the 5 cars on the track at the moment.
And you can see them utilizing on that get-up-to-go lap all of the racetrack right up against the wall. A lot like you see at Daytona and Talladega, or used to see in the single qualifying sessions. Surprised me to see some of these cars and drivers be a little higher on the racetrack, even though Denny's right there towards the bottom of the track.
Denny 4th out of 4.
Quite a bit slower than his lap previous.
Here's Keselowski to the top of the board. Now that's about a little over a mile an hour slow. Justin Allgaier is taking the green flag. Jamie McMurray
Kurt Busch, really good lap here.
I'm taking that back. I don't think that's McMurray. That is Casey Kane, who's also on the clock.
That was a great lap by Kurt Busch.
Gave the track record a run there in round 2. Didn't quite get it, but gave it a run.
It ran faster than what he did in that first round.
Justin Allgaier, completing his rookie season in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series this year. 5th out of 8 with that lap.
I want to see a few cars run before I say this, but I believe Hamlin might be in trouble making this top 12.
Kyle Busch 3rd, kicks Denny down to 8th. Here's McMurray.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Andy. They need to be preparing to run again for sure.
McMurray slower than Hamlin. He's 9th out of 10. Ryan Newman on the track. Ricky Stenhouse heading onto the track. And Martin Truex has just taken the green flag also. Those cars will finish in the Truex, Newman, Stenhouse order. It's the order that are out on the speedway. Kevin Harvick also looking like he's starting to roll.
Newman can hang about right here. He might be in decent shape. Don't lose too much time getting back to the line. I
think he might be in trouble too.
Truex 10th, Newman 11th, Kane on the bubble now in 12th. Green flag for Kevin Harvick.
You can see by that when Harvick took the green, he was in the green there, so that means he really did a good job getting this car up to speed. Lost a little bit on the exit of turn 2, though.
Casey Kane bumped. Ricky Stenhouse into the top 12. Matt Kenseth takes the green. And Harvick 3rd.
Yeah, that should be plenty good there.
Newman's on the bubble. Kenseth is on the clock. Jeff Gordon has also come onto the racetrack. 3rd for Kenseth. Newman is bumped. Truex on the bubble. Green flag for Jeff Gordon. Eric Almirola coming around to take the green flag behind Gordon. And Jimmy Johnson leaving the pit lane to start a warm-up lap.
Gordon's got a good lap going here also. Trying that low line through turns 3 and 4. See how that works on the exit. Yes, that's what Denny Hamlin did, and might have cost him a little time there. Gordon okay, though.
Truex is bumped. McMurray to the bubble. Florida native Eric Almirola at a track he calls his favorite. Just squeaks inside the top 12. Bumps McMurray. Puts himself on the bubble. Denny Hamlin hanging in an 11th spot, but still got 7 drivers that have not made a run yet. Jimmy Johnson to 2nd. Almirola's out. Hamlin's on the bubble. Here's Austin Dillon. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is also on the racetrack. Green flag for Jr. As you see, Austin not fast enough to make it. Joey Logano is on a warm-up lap also. So Jr. on the clock, Logano on a warm-up lap and coming to the green.
Wiggle there. Logano had to try to exit the corner, kind of chasing the car up the racetrack.
Left side of the screen, Earnhardt Jr. into 6th. Denny Hamlin's bumped. Paul Menard on the bubble. 3 minutes to go.
Whoa, way out of shape off the floor.
Yeah, see these drivers trying to utilize the bottom. I believe I'm remembering watching Kurt Busch. He was more in the middle of the racetrack when he made that lap.
Got it inside the top 12. Bumps Paul Menard. Justin Allgaier on the bubble.
Not going to be a very comfortable spot for Logano and that team right now, though.
Marcus Ambrose, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, the 3 drivers that have not run yet in this round. There's Ambrose completing a lap. 14th, does not make it. That leaves Biffle and Edwards. Leaves Allgaier on the bubble. Leaves Hamlin and Newman outside the top 12. Doc?
Well, Denny Hamlin would ideally like 20 minutes to cool the engine down. He only had about 7.5, and they got it as cool as they could. Hamlin said the car was very tight in 3 and 4. He took a lower line, but the car was tight, would not turn, and now they're as cool as they can get it. He's headed out here in the final 2 minutes to try to get back to the top 12.
I'm sorry, Alan. You take a tight race car in a situation like that, you go to the bottom of the racetrack, which is what you think you need to do with that so you can get back to the gas, but you've got so much wheel in the center, it's just scrubbing off speed there, and your exit speed is just non-existent.
I think he needs to try something different here. I think he might need to try to just zing that thing around the outside, right up next to the wall. That's what we see him do in the race. When the tires start giving up grip, those guys all move up to the top of the racetrack. And that's kind of what's happening here. These tires are losing grip and speed.
Greg Biffle completes a lap, 19th. Carl Edwards on the clock now. The only driver that hasn't posted a time yet in this round. Here comes Carl to the finish line. Carl, 13th, just misses, cracking the top 12. There he goes all the way to the top, does Hamlin.
Yeah, I like that strategy. Try something different.
We'll see if he does that whenever he comes back around after he's on the clock.
1 minute to go. A lot of cars headed back out onto the track for another go at it, including Ryan Newman. Yeah, he went back to the bottom, didn't he?
Yeah, I think 3 and 4 is where he needs to be up against the wall. I think that's where everybody's losing that time. It's in the middle of 3 and 4 coming off.
I think at least in the middle of the racetrack, if nothing else. That gives you room to kind of do different things.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, this is going to be good enough, I believe. He's going to get enough out of this.
How about that?
How about that? 4.
Yeah, good job, Danny Hamlin.
P4. Awesome job, buddy.
Allgaier's out. 15 seconds to go. And a pile of cars on the racetrack trying to get one last run in. Here's Ryan Newman. Martin Truex into 4th. Logano on the bubble now.
I don't think so.
Nope. 21st for Newman. Justin Allgaier can't get back into the top 12. Jamie McMurray.
Logano's safe there.
Not going to do it. Wow. So by the hair of his chinny chin chin, Joey Logano makes the top 12. Denny Hamlin changing lines in 3 and 4. Rallies some speed to crack the lead group. But Ryan Newman will start from 21st position on Sunday in his championship bid. So Kurt Busch, Gabe Brad Keselowski's track record set in the first round, a good run. Didn't quite get there, but there are your top 12 that'll compete for pole position momentarily. And the second 12, and where they'll start in Sunday's 400-miler.
And Ryan Newman and his team, kind of what they've done all year, battling from the back. They do it well, though.
Who's on pole position for Sunday? The final round of qualifying is coming up from here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Back live Homestead-Miami Speedway, getting ready for the final round of knockout qualifying today. It comes up in just a few moments. Ryan Newman, one of the championship quartet, will start in 21st position on Sunday. Vince?
Well, certainly not the starting position that he wanted, but what were the characteristics of the car that kept you from where you wanted to get?
Just a little bit tight getting in mostly. A buddy of mine once said it's not where you start, it's where you stop. And we got half of them beat to start. We'll keep digging with the Caterpillar Chevrolet. We just struggled a little bit there. My first run was pretty good, but then on the refires, we weren't where we needed to be.
Yeah, I like that. It's not where you start, it's where you stop. That's the philosophy they're going with this weekend, Alan.
All right, Vince, thanks. So We talked about you don't have to be right at the front. Mostly this was about psychology, this qualifying. After what he did in the last corner of Phoenix last week, I don't see why Ryan be phased right now with this.
Pretty tough mentally.
We'll see how the top 12 fare when we come back. Homestead-Miami Speedway with a frantic final round of knockout qualifying is about to unfold for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series for the year. Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, championship contenders, all making the final 12. Along with 9 others, they'll get 5 minutes of open track to determine their starting position for Sunday's race, beginning right now. One of those where everybody waits till the last second to run, try to cool the car off as much as possible.
When the 11 reran his run into 78, did they adjust their line? 11 was much lower in 1 and 2 than it traditionally had been. And 4 was the same for him? I bet he didn't leave much room. It's like he was trying to get to the bottom, but didn't get all the way. There's a couple feet there. Like he was trying to make a real late arc, but never got there.
So the engineers studying the laptop are actually using a service called Dartfish Video, where they can look at any lap basically that they sign up to look at. And so if there's a question Tab Boyd the spotter couldn't answer about a line, they look at it back again and they can provide that answer to the driver. So Joey got his questions answered, and now he'll sit here and wait for his moment to go out and try to get the pole.
Just 4 minutes left, Dave. Matt Kenseth, Clint Boyer on the track now, on the clock. Boyer going to be the first one to complete a time. Brad Keselowski leaving the pit lane. He'll be the 3rd driver on the track.
I like that line Boyer's taking right there.
It's a 179.5 miles an hour. The fast time in both sessions been in the 181s.
Yeah, but there was only one car down in the 29-second bracket in that last one, and there's one already. 29.95 for Kenseth.
Matt Kenseth, new leader. Green flag for Brad Keselowski, who's on the clock now. Jimmy Johnson leaving the pit lane. He would be next. Then it looks like it'll be Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, he's throwing sparks and all kind of stuff there. Got that baby on the ground.
I think he got the line that he really was looking for down in 1 and 2. He was a lot higher on the exit of the corner than he intended to be. A big run off the corner, but not quite enough to get Kenseth.
Second for Keselowski. Green flag for Jimmy Johnson. And now coming to the green flag, Kevin Harvick. Behind Harvick, Kurt Busch will be coming to the green flag to start his lap. Kurt fastest in the 2nd round.
Harvick was not going to get it at all. Yeah, he was not even up to speed really as much as Kenseth was at the start-finish line when his lap started.
Pretty decent run through there, but he lost so much time in 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Going in the right direction, though. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's 3rd for Kevin. Jimmy Johnson 4th. Martin Truex starts a lap. Kurt Busch coming to finish. There it is. Top of the board, 41.
P1 right there at 89 right now. P2 is a 20 at a 95.
Truex on the clock. Kyle Busch starting a warm-up lap. And Joey Logano leaving the pit lane. Truex 6th. Green flag for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And green flag for Jeff Gordon. Logano starts a run.
Logano really was up to speed well. Using up a lot of racetrack down there in 1 and 2, though.
Gave up some ground there.
can make that big run like we saw Harvick.
Jeff Gordon, top of the board. Logano struggling for control in 4. 7th. Kyle Busch coming to the checkered flag, and Denny Hamlin coming to the green. Kyle Busch 7th. So Hamlin makes the clock, and now the final lap of qualifying's begun. And it's a good one so far.
Boy, it really is. See if Hamlin can pull off what he did last time down here in 3 and 4. Going the wrong way right now. Nope. See where this lands, though.
That'll be 8th. So that's it. It's over.
Good job.
Denny Hamlin 8th, Joey Logano 9th, Kevin Harvick 5th, and Jeff Gordon is on pole position. So there it is, Gordon with the 200th pole position for Hendrick Motorsports in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, topping the 12 that will lead the field to the green flag on Sunday. And plenty more still to come from the Homestead-Miami Speedway here in South Florida. Homestead-Miami Speedway, where qualifying for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series has just wrapped up to set the starting order for Sunday's Ford EcoBoost 400. Jeff Gordon is on pole position, and there are where the 4 championship round contenders will start Sunday's race. Harvick in 5th, Hamlin in 8th, Logano in 9th, and Newman in 21st. Jamie?
Well, it's not the pole for Kevin Harvick, but he's the best of the 4 championship contenders. You were also the best overall of the 4 in practice. What do you feel like you guys need to work on, if anything, for the race on Sunday?
Well, I think just drivability. This is going to be a race where you go through some changing conditions, and today was really just about trying to get a solid starting spot, and we were able to do that with our Budweiser team. So just really proud of all my guys. We've had a good day today, and just got to keep doing what we have to do and see where it all falls on Sunday.
Hoping he'll end up in victory lane for the first time here and get that championship. Let's go over to Vince.
And the man starting from the pole on Sunday will be Jeff Gordon, and it's the 200th pole for Hendrick Motorsports in the Sprint Cup, so congratulations on that. Is this a statement race for you guys, considering you're not in this Final Four of the championship?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't think that's the way we're approaching this weekend or looking at this weekend. I'm really excited about that pole. They're driving in Hunger Chevrolet. I don't know if I've ever been on the pole here, number 1, and to be 200 for Hendrick Motorsports is really cool. But I think the way we're looking at this weekend is we want to finish this season off the absolute best that we possibly can. It's been a tremendous season for us. This 24 team has been incredible this year. We're disappointed we're not in this thing for the championship. That's not going to stop us from trying to go out and win the pole and win the race.
Yeah, off to a great start. The 24 will start P1. Alan?
And I'll answer the question, Vince. No, he's not won a pole here at Homestead-Miami Speedway before, so that's a first for Jeff Gordon. And in that guy's career, there aren't a lot of firsts left, believe me. More to come from Homestead-Miami Speedway. At noon Eastern on ABC. I saw some footage on the news of them shoveling out all the snow from all the seats at the Gophers outdoor stadium up there. Going to be one of those cold weather games up in the Twin Cities for Ohio State visiting Minnesota. Down to pit road here in sunny and warm Miami to Doc.
Well, with Denny Hamlin, Denny, it looked like you had a lot of speed going into 1 and 2, but then you lost it on the backstretch, and 3 and 4 have been sort of tough. Take us through that last qualifying run.
Well, I think this is one of the benefits of having a good car on the long run is when you have to make an extra run, you're able to do what we were able to do. So proud of the whole FedEx Express team. To have an extra cycle on our tires there and still be that close, that's very encouraging. Like I said, it's been a great day so far, and very encouraged by what I've seen so far. So car's feeling really good, so we'll see what we got.
Denny Hamlin starts 8th. Let's go to Dave.
Catching up with Joey Logano now. Joey, how do you feel about the effort after practice today and your 9th place starting spot?
It's a good recovery from where we were in practice. I think we were 20-something, pretty far down the board in practice. So guys did a good job. Like I said earlier, they did an awesome job recovering from that. Just lost a little bit of speed as qualifying went. It's amazing how those guys can run 80s like that in the third run on the tires. I thought that was impressive. So just got to try to figure out how to keep speed in the car a little bit longer in qualifying. But we have all offseason to figure that part out. We'll try to figure out the race now.
All right, the team told him we can do it from there, so he starts in the top 10.
All right, Dave, thanks. So Logano in 9th position for his run for a championship on Sunday, and the next garage stall over. Denny Hamlin's crew already hard at work on his car. He'll start from the number 8 position. And more is still to come from Homestead-Miami Speedway after Jeff Gordon's pole-winning run. That traffic moves pretty fast through downtown.
Faster than it was this morning when I was coming down.
Almost as fast as Jeff Gordon.
Chat among friendly rivals. Roger Penske left, Coach Joe Gibbs right. The two competing not only for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship, but the NASCAR Nationwide Series team championship. Of course, Chase Elliott's already locked up the driver's crown, but the Gibbs 54 with Kyle Busch and the Penske 22 with Brad Keselowski will fight it out for the team championship tomorrow in the Ford EcoBoost 300. Final race of the NASCAR Nationwide Series season, ESPN 2 at 4 Eastern Time. And Sunday, the race that'll decide it. Highest finisher of the Ford Championship round drivers wins the crown within the field of 43. It's the Ford EcoBoost 400, 1 Eastern, ESPN, Sunday afternoon from here at Homestead-Miami. Also this weekend, they'll decide championships in the NHRA at the Auto Club NHRA Finals in Pomona. Qualifying runs late night Saturday, early Sunday on ESPN 2 with final elimination Sunday night, 7:30 Eastern, also on ESPN 2. Jeff Gordon, your pole sitter. Kurt Busch second. Matt Kenseth third. Brad Keselowski was fourth. Dave?
So Brad was texting me his answer. No, you weren't doing that. Fourth today, Brad. I want to talk about two things. First of all, your effort, but then secondly, how you might have helped your teammate going for that championship. He struggled a little bit in qualifying trim this afternoon.
Yeah, well, it was great to see Joey, obviously pick up there, Dave, in those last, or today's sessions. So I'm happy for him and certainly pulling him on for a Team Penske Sprint Cup Championship. So that was great to see, but the Miller Lite Ford Fusion is pretty fast. We were really good in the first round. I just kind of missed it a little bit the second and third round. I'm not really sure where, but either way, we had a great starting spot, starting fourth today, or for Sunday's race after today's qualifying, and I think we're going to be really good come race time.
Good luck on Sunday.
All right, thank you, Dave.
Brad Keselowski, fourth starting spot on Sunday.
Well, with Coach Joe Gibbs, and Coach, you've been on the sidelines for a lot of big games over the years, Super Bowls, and won 3 of them. How would you compare the pressure there to what you feel as an owner here in NASCAR in this chase?
Well, I think the pressure is there's a lot of pressure here right now in qualifying. I can tell you that. I was nervous. I think we all are. This is big-time weekend. I think it's going to be great for our fans. You got 4 great teams in it, and you can't ask for anything better than this. And to have a chance like this, Lord's blessed us with just a great chance to have a chance. So I look at it that way, and it's a thrill for us to be a part of this.
They indeed do have a chance. Denny Hamlin could be a big-time factor on Sunday.
All right, Doc, thanks. So when we came on, we talked about those 4 championship round contenders and the psychology and the psychological plus and minus of where they qualify. What'd you see in this round?
Well, Kevin Harvick wasn't the fastest, but he was the fastest of the 4 that really matter here on Sunday afternoon. So even though they were all very competitive there, Harvick certainly throwing out that hey, we're here again, and we're the fastest for the weekend so far.
Yeah, Gordon kind of surprised everybody winning that pole. There's no surprise, really, that Harvick was the fastest of the 4. And of the slowest, you look at Newman. Who can handle that probably the best? I think they can. I think they can come back from that. Starting position's not that important. I think if you'd have seen Kevin Harvick back there, it would have been a mental blow for him. He expected to be faster than other guys, and he was.
So no body blows thrown in this first round of this championship weekend. So ahead to Sunday. And after what we've seen throughout this chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, when it gets right down to the closing laps of this one, what are we going to see?
We can see anything. I think that, what we saw last weekend on the very last lap of the race could be something similar to what we see. We saw a number of years ago Carl Edwards try to make a bonsai move on Jimmy Johnson at Kansas. We might see that very similar type thing for the win and the championship right here Sunday afternoon.
I don't think you can predict anything. I think there's still some mistakes that are going to be made and have to be overcome. And there's going to be some last lap maneuvering. I think it's going to be great. I can't wait for Sunday.
So first Saturday, the NASCAR Nationwide Series, season-ending race. Chase Elliott officially crowned champion. The trophy presentation and all at the end of the Ford EcoBoost 300 on ESPN2, starting at 4 Eastern Time tomorrow. And then Sunday, the final race of the season, the race that'll decide who this year's champion will be, the Ford EcoBoost 400. On ESPN, starting at 1 Eastern Time on Sunday afternoon. The weather will be spectacular. The racing is always spectacular here on this track, and we expect the championship, just like these other 9 rounds of the chase, to be spectacular. College football countdown is next. Jeff Gordon starts on pole. Harvick, Hamlin, and Logano all in the top 10. Newman starts 21st on Sunday.